Okay, in this video, I'm going over every fight on the main card of UFC 322. It's a pretty stacked main card. I'm very excited. And we're going to start with Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint-Denis. This is one of the hardest fights to predict ever for me because they are practically the same. They're very evenly matched in at different points in their career, but they've had weaknesses and they've had. It's so hard to predict this fight. But I think I'm going to go with Benoit Saint-Denis. It's hard to go for Benoit Saint-Denis because I've seen so many weaknesses from him, and his performance against Renato Moicano was just terrible. And he got chinned by Poirier, and obviously that's not that bad, getting chinned by Poirier in general. But just the way Benoit Saint-Denis looks on the feet, he's so slow. But his grappling is extremely good. He is coming off winning against Mauricio Raffi, which I think is a very good win. It's a better win than Renato Moicano, who Beneil Dariush is coming off of a win against. But Renato beat Benoit, so it's so hard to say. MMA math doesn't work, obviously, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. The thing about Beneil is that he's older. He's getting a lot older now. He took a lot of time off after the Arman Tsarukyan KO. He came back, fought Renato Moicano, won, but he also got dropped in the first round by Renato Moicano, which I really don't like as a chin indicator going into a fight, any fight against anybody. And Benoit Saint-Denis has really good forward pressure. I don't hate his chin, even though he got chinned by Poirier. He still has a good chin. I expect Benoit Saint-Denis to kind of go forward. He's going to shoot takedowns. I don't think he gets a lot of them. I think Beneil is able to stuff him and keep it on the feet. So I think it's going to be mostly on the feet. And on the feet, I honestly like Beneil Dariush's striking game better than Benoit's, but I don't trust Beneil's chin at all. And I could see Benoit slamming body kicks really slowly, but still landing them, making it kind of a brawl on the feet, which Beneil's used to. And it's so hard to pick against Beneil in this because he has proven that he's better than lower level guys. And he beat Gamrot. And he's pretty fucking good. And he's good in a scrap, which Benoit Saint-Denis is going to bring to this fight. But I just don't trust Beneil's chin in his old age, as opposed to Benoit Saint-Denis. He's in his prime. He had the knockout against Poirier, but I don't think Beneil is going to have the power to get him out of there like Poirier does. So I'm going to have to go with the in the prime fighter who's going to have a grueling pressure in Benoit Saint-Denis. If Beneil was coming off of the Gamrot win, I would pick him. But getting chinned by Oliveira and then getting destroyed by Arman Tsarukyan and getting dropped by Renato, Benoit does have a little bit of power when he gets going. And I bet you Benoit starts to catch him on the feet and knocks him out in the second or third round. But I could so see Beneil Dariush doing some dumbass shit, knocking out Benoit at some point, because Benoit is just weak. He showed so many weaknesses in his game. But so is Dariush. That's why it's so fucking hard. But I'm going to go with Benoit. I'm going to trust in the age factor. And if it goes to a decision, I trust the UFC to pick Benoit if it's really close, because Benoit, they want him to win. He's the French market. So yeah, very difficult one to predict. The rest of them are kind of easy. Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Speaking of easy to predict, I am 100% confident in this fight, which when that is the case, usually goes wrong for me. But I am 100% confident in Carlos Prates to knock out Leon Edwards in this fight. I will say that, I've said this 100 times and I'll always say it, without Headshot Dead and some early points in Leon's career where he's fighting shit fighters, Leon Edwards is just as boring as Bilal. Just as boring. And even worse, Leon Edwards is a quitter and he wilts under pressure extremely hard, especially now in his career. And Carlos Prates is the pressure. He's a fucking Terminator. He's going to pressure forward, be comfortable, land his powerful, insanely deadly shots on the feet. Leon Edwards is going to try to grapple. He's not going to be able to succeed. Carlos Prates has good takedown defense. He showed that in the Ian Gary fight to a degree. Obviously, he didn't stuff all of them. And the difference between the person who beat Carlos Prates in the UFC in Ian Gary and Leon Edwards, the difference between those two fighters, I said that really stupidly. Ian Gary's bigger. He has better outside foot position and movement. He has more dynamic movement to trip up Carlos Prates and trying to get him to like miss and be all weird on the feet. Leon Edwards has good foot movement and he has good striking ability. He's very technical, obviously, but he has no power. He doesn't have the speed to get out of Carlos Prates' way. He's going to get chinned. Carlos is the bigger, rangier. I don't know if he has more reach, actually, but he's the bigger opponent. He has great takedown defense. He has a good shin. Leon Edwards has no power. Carlos Prates has a ton of it. He's going to walk forward and shin Leon Edwards. Also, Leon Edwards is coming off of 2 embarrassing losses. Both grapplers, but he got dunked on his head by Bilal and lost that fight, completely killing his morale. I am telling you right now, Leon Edwards is not a fighter that can crawl from the depths after his confidence is gone. He is a wilter, and I know Headshot Dead says otherwise, but that honestly was lucky. The second fight with Usman was very impressive. Leon Edwards does quit. He wilts under pressure and he quits. The Sean Brady performance was not good either. He got dominated and submitted. After a performance like that, I don't trust Leon Edwards at all to go into a fight against someone so fucking confident, coming off a spinning elbow knockout in Carlos Prates, who the whole world is in his hands. I think he's going to go in there and knock out Leon Edwards since he make it look easy. Pretty fucking easily. I don't see a path to victory for Leon, to be honest. And that's just the sad factor of this all. I think that we're gonna look back on Leon Edwards' title reign and his overall career and be like, we're gonna forget when we go over welterweight champions. We're gonna say, oh yeah, Leon was there. That's kind of weird, kind of like a Tyron Woodley. At least in my case, I tend to forget Tyron Woodley exists. But Carlos Prates is gonna murder him, and I think that's a clear bet. Now they put the house on that. So yeah, next, Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. This one's a lot harder to predict, but I'm gonna go with a different pick than everybody else's. And it's not saying that the other pick is bad, but I'm gonna go with Michael Morales to win this fight. And I'm very worried about this pick because Sean Brady is so dominant in the grappling. But Michael Morales is better on the feet. He has power. He knocked out Gilbert Burns in the first round. I wouldn't say he's a super insane powerhouse finisher in any sense of the word, but what he is tall, big, athletic, powerful, comes from a family of very insane athletes, Olympian level athletes in combat sports. I like all those attributes of Michael Morales. And going into a fight against Sean Brady, you have to be good at takedown defense. I think Michael Morales has good enough takedown defense to at least stuff one takedown. And on the feet, I think it's night and day. I think Michael Morales is way better striking on the feet. Sean Brady, I know it's weird to bring up because it was an outlier of sorts, but he got knocked out by Bilal Muhammad. And I know Sean Brady couldn't get his. It was harder to get grappling going because Bilal Muhammad is good at grappling. But you got knocked out, you got TKO'd standing by Bilal Muhammad and pretty much didn't have anything for him on the feet. I get that Sean Brady's been improving. I don't think he's improved to the degree that Michael Morales won't be able to deal with him on the feet. And I know his chin is suspect. And like I said before in the Leon Edwards win, I know Sean Brady dominated him, but I don't rate Leon Edwards in the grappling grittiness whatsoever. I predict that Michael Morales, if he gets taken down, will scramble to his feet. He'll get up and he'll look for the finish and he'll strike. And then when he starts landing strikes, after a while, I think he'll start to build up damage. And I could see Michael Morales just chinning Sean Brady out. TKO, he gets wobbly, falls over. Michael Morales jumps on top, maybe an early stoppage. But I could so see that happening. I don't see Sean Brady submitting Michael due to his size and athleticism. And there's no super clear signs pointing to Michael Morales having really, really good takedown defense. But for some reason, I doubt Sean Brady a lot. I doubt his chin. I just doubt him. And I know his win against Leon was very impressive, but I don't, like I said, Leon Edwards I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's the guy that's going to break Sean Brady in any sense of the word. You kind of have to have a presence and a pressure, which Leon Edwards doesn't have, and I think Michael Morales does. I think he's going to finish Sean Brady. Kind of a hot take. And if he doesn't finish him, he'll get decision dominated in the grappling. That's the other way this fight could go. But I think Michael Morales is going to chin him in the first round, late into the first round, after maybe getting taken down, getting back up, separates, starts throwing a little bit, and then cracks him and drops him. It's over. I just have a really weird feeling that's how this is going to go. Maybe call me crazy, but maybe come back to this video after the fact and maybe shit on me if I'm wrong. But I have a really good feeling about Michael Morales in this matchup. I've had weird feelings about Sean Brady for his entire after the Bilal Muhammad performance. He's been doing good, obviously, but Gilbert Burns and Leon Edwards are not the performances I need to solidify a pick for him in this fight. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Michael Morales next. Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. So I was going back and forth on this one a lot, but I'm gonna go with Zhang Weili. I think that Zhang's just she's better at striking than Valentina Shevchenko. I think she should be quicker. I think she's coming up a weight class, and there's a certain amount of skill that comes from that. I will be refuting that in the main event, but I think Zhang Weili is better than the opponents Valentina Shevchenko has been going to very, very close decisions against, like Manuel Fiorot and Alexa Grasso. I think Zhang Weili is a championship level fighter and has proved it on many occasions. And while Valentina Shevchenko has been very close decisionating people in her division for her past couple defenses and losing it, I know Zhang Weili's lost before, but her past couple title defenses have been pretty dominant. And I just really like Zhang Weili's pressure and her ability to strike and not be afraid of anything in a fight. She goes forward and she has a tenacity about her. And I think Shevchenko is kind of reaching that point in her career where she's going to make it close with no matter with anybody she fights. And Zhang Weili has the skill set to keep it standing and have enough output to give Valentina like real trouble on the feet. I see it being a decision, obviously. I see it being a very close decision. But I see Zhang Weili outputting her, getting like hitting a couple more shots on the feet per round, stuffing a takedown, maybe going for her own. I kind of don't see takedowns working for either opponent. And if she does get taken down, Zhang Weili is one of the only women's fighters that I trust to get back up to her feet. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Zhang Weili. I really like Zhang Weili as a women's fighter. I think she's one of the best women's fighters of all time. And Valentina is also, but I've watched Valentina before and just been like, oh, this sucks. This is ass. And Zhang Weili's made fights boring, but she's been pretty dominant. Besides the knockout of Rose Namajunas and the other Rose Namajunas fight, and there's been other fights. But she makes it a brawl, and I like that more at this point in Zhang Weili's career than Valentina's. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Zhang by decision, obviously. And I think they want Zhang Weili to win. China is a super insanely huge market that they have yet to truly tap into, and having a double champ would make it better, I guess. So yeah, next. Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev in the main event. Islam moving up for the welterweight title, and Jack Della Maddalena is standing in his way. I am going to pick Jack Della Maddalena to win against Islam Makhachev. And I know that Islam's a huge favorite, and for good, not I don't think he should be a huge favorite. I understand making him a tiny favorite. He is a pound for pound number one. He's very dominant. But at the same time, he's not that dominant, and that's what I'll go into first. I think Jack Della Maddalena is going to win. I think Islam Makhachev has made very close fights. Not, I mean, one of them was very, like, insanely close, but he's made competitive, insanely, like, hard fights out of two people in particular that I'm going to go into. Alexander Volkanovski and Dustin Poirier. He's smoked a lot of other people, but those two are the elites of the elites that he has fought, and besides Oliveira, which he beat. But I want to go into these two performances because this is why I'm picking Jack for the most part. The Volk performance, we'll go with that first. So in the Volk performance, featherweight, Volkanovski, small man, not a small man in and he's pretty broad, and he was like 240 at one point, but he's like 5'6", comes up to lightweight, and in the first fight, in my opinion, he beat Islam Makhachev, coming up with his striking. Is very good striking, but it's a different style of striking. He was able to stuff takedowns. He was able to keep it on the feet for a lot of the fight. He was able to borderline break Islam Makhachev in the fifth round. I really like that, coming from the same region, the same camp, the same coaches, Craig Jones as well, and a training partner of Jack Della Maddalena is Volkanovski. They're coming from the exact same backgrounds. Jack Della Maddalena is bigger, obviously, has way more impressive forward striking. It's hard to say because they have different styles, but damage-wise, Jack Della Maddalena is way more effective. And he's way bigger. He has Craig Jones. He has Volk, who has experience with Islam Makhachev. That's one reason. And the second one is Poirier's performance. Poirier, at 35 years old, with a false hip, was able to stuff takedowns and make it grueling against Islam on the feet, in the striking, getting up out of takedowns. He got submitted. He did get submitted. But it was very difficult for him the entirety of that fight until when he submitted him. And what I'll say about that is that Jack is a bigger, in his prime, with two hips version of Poirier with arguably equal to or better striking. That's a kind of a hot take, obviously. But Jack Della Maddalena is a champion. Poirier couldn't get to that point. Different competition, I get it. But Jack is that guy. He's a damage machine. He has great striking. He has great takedown defense. I know he's had trouble with it in the past, but he showed it in the Bilal fight. He has good takedown defense and, more importantly, good scrambles and ability to get back to his feet. And Bilal Muhammad, in my opinion, has a way better forward pressure than Islam Makhachev. He has a way better he's imposing. He makes you way more uncomfortable on the feet. He made Jack go on his back foot for a lot of the fight. Islam Makhachev won't have that same pressure. It won't be getting to Jack and where he won't be like on the back foot. He'll be able to go forward at his own pace and kind of get into the fight. And I really like the way Jack Della Maddalena sets up for takedown defense, especially in the Bilal fight. He would keep a really high and tight guard, and then every single time he would throw and drop a little bit. So he would throw and drop, so just in case Bilal Muhammad would shoot, he'd be right there. And they occasionally clashed heads when Bilal would go in and be like, oh, fuck. And he went in for a couple times, maybe looking for a takedown, and then backed out because he realized how low Jack was. I like that style for Jack to stuff takedowns. And Islam Makhachev's coming up a weight class. And I know I just said that about Zhang Weili, that it's a good thing because lighter man skill. But I'd argue that Poirier doesn't have lighter man skill compared to Jack Della Maddalena in his striking or the takedown defense, and Islam Makhachev's coming up a weight class to fight a bigger version of him. Sure, Islam will be bigger as well, and most likely be the same size as Jack. I'm not going to say Jack's going to be way bigger than Islam, but he's way bigger than Poirier. He's in his fucking prime. He's 29. I just really see all signs pointing to Jack here. And obviously, Islam could prove me wrong. He could have different stylistic takedowns than Bilal, have different control, just a different level of strength that comes with the Dagestani genes and training regimen. Obviously, he could take him down, submit him in a second, and everybody would freak out. I would obviously be a little bit surprised, considering how well Jack did against Bilal. Also, I think Bilal has a really good fucking chin and is able to take punishment well. He doesn't have that good of a chin. It's hard to say, but I will say that Islam's been shinned completely before. So if we're going to talk about weaknesses in each other's games, Jack Della Maddalena has been taken down, held down. There's like by Basil Hafez and stuff, and he's had iffy performances. He broke his arm against Gilbert Burns, so he wasn't able to get back up to his feet very efficiently. It's a very close fight. It's hard to say, but I just think Jack Della Maddalena is a kind of a he's he's a different level of striker in the welterweight division. One that the welterweights haven't really seen yet before until now. Maybe as opposed like maybe Carlos Prates. I might pick Carlos Prates against Jack, but against someone in Islam Makhachev who doesn't have a great forward pressure, who's very technical on the feet but doesn't have a lot of power, coming up a weight class against someone who's such an efficient damager in Jack, it just points me to picking Jack Della Maddalena. And I think that's not very hot of a take. I think it's a very 50-50 fight no matter how you look at it. But I've seen weaknesses in both sides of the game, but I've seen a lot of improvement in Jack's takedown defense against Bilal in a style that's similar and camps that's similar. And I've seen Islam have the exact same weaknesses and almost getting broken by Volk, who's a smaller Jack Della Maddalena, effectively. And I think the forward pressure of Jack Della Maddalena's striking will be more effective than Volk's like careful, like weave out counter type of striking. I explained that a little bit poorly, but it is a hard fight to predict. It's a hard fight to wrap your head around a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Jack Della Maddalena to beat Islam Makhachev by knockout in the third or fourth round. He'll get taken down. He'll get back up. The fight will start to flow. He'll start to land more. Islam will obviously land as well. But Jack will do as he always does. Take the shots. He'll keep going forward. He'll keep landing his jab. He'll keep throwing weird shots. He'll start going to the body. I saw Poirier get back Islam up to the cage and start ripping body shots like Islam couldn't do shit about it. I see Jack being able to do something similar to a more effective degree. So yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Della Maddalena to knock out Islam in the third or fourth. Yeah. Hard to predict though. Next, not next. That's it. I will see you soon.